Therefore, my beloved brothers and sisters, be firm, immovable, always excelling in the work of the Lord, knowing that your labor is not in vain in the Lord. Well, here we are, Friday morning, the end of another work week. And if you're anything like me, there's probably a few things you didn't get finished. Maybe you worked hard all week and you're still looking at the same problems you were looking at Monday morning. Maybe you helped somebody and never got thanked for it. Maybe you did what you could and nobody even noticed. And that's where this verse really speaks to me. Paul says, be firm, immovable, always excelling in the work of the Lord, knowing that your labor is not in vain in the Lord. Now notice that last part. Your labor is not in vain. That's important because sometimes it sure feels like it is. You do the right thing and nothing seems to change. You pray for somebody and they still struggle. You try to encourage somebody and they still walk away discouraged. You try to live faithfully and the world doesn't seem to care. Nobody applauds when you do something good. But Paul says that God sees it. And more importantly, God says it matters. Think about riding a bicycle up a long hill. You can pedal for what feels like forever, and it seems like you're barely moving. You're working hard, your legs are burning, and you start wondering, am I even getting anywhere? But every turn of those pedals is moving you forward. You may not notice the progress while you're in the middle of the climb, but that doesn't mean the work is accomplishing nothing. Sometimes faith is like that. We want to see immediate results. We want to know what we're doing is making a difference. But God doesn't always give us that view. Sometimes we're simply called to be faithful. Paul says, be firm, immovable. In other words, don't give up just because the results aren't what you expected. Don't let disappointment decide whether you're going to keep following God. Don't let somebody else's rejection convince you that obedience was pointless. And don't measure the value of your work for the Lord by how much attention it gets. Most of the things that matter eternally probably aren't going to make much noise. A conversation with somebody who's hurting, a prayer that nobody else hears, a kind word at exactly the right moment, choosing forgiveness when you could have held on to bitterness, teaching your children the Bible, or just simply showing up for somebody when everybody else has disappeared. Those things might never make anybody's highlight reel, but God sees them. And Paul says your labor is not in vain in the Lord. Now there's another reason this verse matters. The word therefore points us back to everything Paul has just been talking about in 1 Corinthians 15. He's been talking about the resurrection of Messiah, our own future resurrection, and the victory that God has promised over death. Then he says, therefore, because of that hope, stand firm. Because death isn't the end, your work isn't meaningless. Because Messiah has been raised, what you do for him matters. That's a pretty good way to finish the work week. Maybe you've had a hard one. Maybe you're tired. And maybe you're wondering whether all this effort is accomplishing anything. Don't give up. You may not see the fruit yet. You may never see all of it in this lifetime. But that doesn't mean it's wasted. So here's the takeaway for today, folks. Keep doing what God has put in front of you. Keep loving people, keep serving, keep praying, keep telling the truth, keep helping where you can, and keep walking faithfully, even when nobody else seems to notice. Finish the week knowing that the work you do for Him matters, even if nobody else gives you that recognition. Even when you can't see the results. Even when you're tired. Keep going and keep pedaling. Thank you for joining me here today, my friends, my family, and anyone else who might be riding along and listening. I hope you had a productive and profitable work week. I don't know about you, but I'm looking forward to Shabbat. Hope to see you here again Sunday morning. And until then, Abba willing, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom.